I could actually see deep down the direction that I was going in, and I come from a good family. I always thought to myself, like, this is the path I'm going in. Like, I don't want to let my parents down. You'll give yourself the time and you will practice and you'll get better at your craft. It doesn't matter what it is. And to me, as long as you put the hours in, you will become successful.
Accountability and owning the fact that everything that happens to you is your fucking fault. As soon as you accept that, you can't go fucking wrong.
Everyone knows Ronnie, Coleman and Cutler were using shit, and the crowds fill to watch them, right?
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, if you could see someone run 100 metres in 4 seconds, no one would go to the Natural Olympics anymore. I've just kept it there because that kind of structure has helped me fulfill the other needs that I've kind of looked to pursue with. And as I said, it comes back to hard work, accountability and structure.
So that together we have clarity, direction, and success way beyond what we ever previously thought possible. Here's your host, Frankie Lee.
Welcome back to the Frankie Lee podcast. Today, guys, we've got a guest that you asked for. Again, I'm delivering it. He's actually one of the biggest guys in Australia. Like this is no joke. He is another bald legend. We've got Sam Pearce, IFBB Pro, in the building. And mate, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Frankie. It's been some time. I mean, on my end, obviously. Mate, you've been hitting me up, I know, and you probably think I've been barring it at some stage, but I'm hopeless, man. I've been, in the last 12 months, I've been opening up my gym and doing everything I got to do, and just been bad for timing, man. So thanks for being patient.
Mate, honestly, I felt like I was on Tinder, and you're asking the girl to come round, and then she's just completely barring you off. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what it's like. But mate, do you know what? Volkanovski's doing it to me as well. Volkanovski agreed to the podcast, and now he's ignoring me. But he'll come back round.
See, I've never ignored you. That's the difference.
Yeah. Nah, he's not ignoring me, but he's playing hard to get. But I think all bald legends play hard to get. I think that's.
It's just something in us, man. You got to have that element about yourself if you're going to be attractive, So,
elusive. You know what I mean? You play a little bit hard to get there.
You're already on the disadvantage. You know what I mean? So you got to have something up your sleeve.
Yeah, and that's what you play out, bro.
Of course.
I think the best place for us to start with you, mate. There's so much to talk about. I want to take you I want to take the people on the whole journey of what is taken for you to get to this point, and what you got to do to get to where I believe you're going and where I know you're going. But let's just strip it way back, right? What made you even decide to get fucking serious about bodybuilding in the first place? Like, what was it that attracted you? Because let's face it, you have to go through all the fucking food, you have to lift fucking a shit ton of heavy weight. There's a mental game to it as well. Like, what makes you decide that you want to dedicate your life to that?
Like anything, you fall into it by accident. I was trying to get big to put on size for football. I was reasonably good at football, but I was a late starter in puberty. So I finished high school and I wanted to essentially put on some size, And funny enough, there was this big black dude from America, and he was always in the gym training. That's what everyone knew him as at the time, like he just kept to himself. And I was just like, man, he looks really, really cool, like I just always wanted to look like that. And I always loved bodybuilding. Like I had the magazines and stuff like that. I guess I always wanted to look like a Super Saiyan, so they kind of resonated with me. And he just came to the gym one day. He just walked up. He goes, "Man, you're very strong." And I didn't even think he was talking to me. I just kept doing my thing. And he's like, "Oi, you're really strong." And I'm like, "Oh shit, man, he's talking to me." So we got on a chat and stuff. And he said, "You should look to compete. You'd be very good at it. I've been watching you train." And I was just more so blown away with him noticing me, and looking at me. And I kind of just took it from there. I just said, yeah, well, if I should compete, what do I do? He goes, I'll coach you for free. You're going to make it. And I was 17 then, and I was going down I was going through a pretty bad path there. I was mixed up with the wrong crowd.
What kind of things were you getting involved with?
You name it. Just put it all down to drugs, drugs and alcohol and
chasing drugs for yourself, or like selling drugs to other people, kind of thing.
Dude, everything, and all my friends are getting amongst it. People getting put away, people turning on each other, and you know the deal. And for me, I just kind of saw it saw what was going on, but I wasn't aware of it. What I guess bodybuilding did, and why I feel I owe so much to it, is that keeping myself accountable to him because I didn't want to let him down because I looked up to him, and pulling myself away from my friends at the time. Not that they were bad to me or anything like that. It's just that, you know, you look at the 5 people closest to you, and that's what you're going to become.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, I was just so focused on trying to keep him happy, and, you know, he was going to train me for free and do these things or whatever. And I just kind of said, well, you know, I'll do this. And now I look back at it and I'm like, well, he kind of saved me and put me on the right path, you know?
Do you reckon from his point of view that he saw you and he kind of thought, do you know what? I'm going to grab this kid early and put him on the right path because I can see he's going down the wrong path.
No, like I was never a lad, you know what I mean? I never walked around showing shit off, you know. I always came from a good family and things like that. I could actually see deep down the direction that I was going in, and I come from a good family. I always thought to myself, like, you know, this is the path I'm going in. Like, I don't want to let my parents down, and they always loved me no matter what. You know, I could have done whatever I wanted to do, even if it was that, and they'd still love me. So for me, I was like, you know, they've worked so hard their whole life. We're not a rich family. We're, you know, very lower middle class. So I feel like they put in too much effort for me to go down a path that in my eyes was disappointing. And I guess that took me away from it. I guess that taught me how to work hard. That taught me how that, you know, if I wanted to achieve something, you got to work hard for it. I said to myself, well, you know, you're not going to make much money from bodybuilding. You know, I got to get on the straight and narrow and get some sort of a degree, because I didn't have the confidence to follow my passion of coaching and things back then, or whatever, in the fitness industry. I just said, you know, I've got to get a degree, because that's what we're taught when we leave school, get a degree, you know. So I did 2 years at TAFE, back entry, because obviously I didn't have the grades to get into uni, and went through and got into civil engineering and went from there, you know.
Civil engineering. I could not see you as a civil engineer.
Dude, yeah. You know,
but this is a classic thing that a lot of people that go through this podcast have been indoctrinated into, right? That the fact of, like, that they're taught that they have to follow a certain path in life to get to these things, like, you know.
Society tells us that. You know, we go to school, we do the subjects at school, you get a certain OP or whatever it is, whatever state you're in, whatever schooling system you have to follow, but here you get an OP. And you got to try and get into uni and get a degree and follow the system that way. No one ever tells you to go out on your own and take the risk. And really, you come out of school and you don't get taught any of that shit. You don't know how to write a resume. You know, you don't know how to get into sales. You don't know how to sell yourself. You don't know how to work hard. You don't know how to follow a passion. You know, like, people say to me, oh, I'm lazy with something. But I'm like, well, lazy's a good term to use, because lazy clearly means you don't want to do it. You know, if someone says, you know, do the dishes, you're like, I don't want to fucking do the dishes, you know, because obviously you don't want to do it. So why would you do a subject at school you don't want to do?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you invest into something you want to do?
100%, mate.
So for me, like I said, I realized that later in life. I went through engineering and I got to the end of it and I'm like, hold up, like, if I can put this much work into something and complete something I don't really enjoy, but, you know, P's get degrees, you know, passes got me the degree. For me, I look at it and I go, well, you know, what if I put that energy into something that I love?
100%, mate. Today, right, even just taking, in instance, this podcast for me, right, this lights me up. That's why I fucking do it, right? Today I lost a couple of clients. Probably cost me about $10,000 a month on retainer, right? The reason why that's a good thing for me is because that allows me to lean even more into what's on my purpose, and that's what the whole game's about. It's like life shows you things so that you can move through it and do the right thing for you.
There's definitely signs for that.
100%.
You know? And I've had to do something recently too. I've had to cut off about $1,500 a week in my own wage with clients, online and in person. I've just had to do it because it's nothing personal against them. For me, I've got to take that one step backwards so I can go 2 steps forward. You know, I'm continuously working and, you know, don't get me wrong, I make good money out of it. But
it's not just about money, is it? You've got a goal that's way beyond money.
Of course, I want to be financially free. And your wealth, right, is only what you are when you stop working. So if you stop working right now, how much do you earn a week?
Yeah.
And most people will say $0. Well, you're not worth anything.
Yeah.
You're worth fuck all. And don't get me wrong, I'm still in that same position now. Like I've got some passive income coming in, but it's not something that I'm earning right now if I stop working.
Yeah.
So really, my wealth is fuck all as well. You know, so for me, I do have to take that one step backwards so I can start working on stuff to build my business and businesses so I don't have to work. So if I want to go fuck off for a month with my daughter overseas and chill, yeah, I can go do it. If I want to go compete and train for 12 weeks with mates of mine that are pros in the US and, you know,
you need
do
something
the whole journey. Yeah, you know, but right now, you know, if I took off and did that, you know, it'd be a struggle for me. I'd have to live off my savings. When in reality, you shouldn't be living off your savings. You should be using your finances on your passive income. You know, too many people they got a set wage and they go out and get a fancy car or put deposits down on houses and things like that. When in reality, that's the wrong thing to do. You should be focusing on that time and effort to be working on your passive income, which will in turn allow you to buy those things because they're not coming out of your weekly wage every week.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a guys, right? I got to tell everyone that listens to this, right? I just started microdosing mushrooms, just like 0.3 a day, just like trying to open up new neurological pathways, and I started to go a lot inward on the breath work. And the other day, I had a bit of a premonition in the morning that why do I need a car? Why do I need all this stuff that I have to pay for? You know, you have a car. Yeah, I pay for my car cash. It's all good. Like, I don't owe nothing on the car, but then you have to pay insurance, all this shit. Basically, I just had a bit of a premonition the other day that I think I need to sell everything, and then go back to scratch, like similar to what you're saying, because we all think we have to have this, but who says we have to have that?
Dude, I crashed my. I've always had Mercedes, and I crashed one at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Written it off, and I think I got paid out. It was about 50 odd K for it, for what it was worth. And at that stage, you know, obviously I was still in the mix of opening my gym, and you know that's an expensive gig doing all that shit. And I took that money and put it into my gym, and people said, "Oh, why don't you just get the payout and buy another car?" I'm like, well, I don't want to use that money to go buy the same car. If I get another car, I'm getting a better car than I got last time.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I did. I put that money in the gym, let the gym start
ramping up.
Yeah, get some money back, put some more money in, and that's essentially what I did. Now people will say, but aren't you contradicting yourself because your car's a liability? I'm like, well, if you can afford it twice, I don't think it's a liability, for one. And two, you know, at this stage where I am working in my business a lot, you know, I'm getting to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm not leaving till 8:30 every night. I want to make sure I get in a motor that I enjoy. So when I'm pissed off that I have to get up on a fucking cold morning at 4 o'clock, I'm enjoying the ride to the gym because that's something for myself. You know, some people like to go and have a few drinks on the weekend and socialise. Some people like to do whatever it is. That's just my thing that I have for myself. Like you go on Instagram, I haven't put it on my Instagram. You know, it's not out there to show off for anyone except
it's just for
myself.
You.
You know what I mean? So whatever, I do think you have to have some sort of reward for your hard work that you do. You know, too many people, too many people are working, and on that grind and on that hustle.
They don't reward themselves. Yeah.
Well, your body, your brain doesn't see any value to that work. If you don't reward yourself, you know, obviously within your means. But, you know, if you do a very good month in sales for your own business or whatever it is, you take your missus out for dinner, and or you might take a night away somewhere or whatever, you know, that's essentially telling your brain that, you know, you work hard, you reward yourself for that, you get a taste of it, and makes you come back on Monday and work even harder.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't go out and spend that whole weekend on a bender and spend $5,000 of that pay, you know what I mean? But you have to live within your means and say, you know, this is what I see as a reward that makes that whole month that I did worth it. Now I'm going to get back on the horse again and work even harder so I can build again for that following month.
And it's the same when you think about it as the gym, right? You're going into the gym to expand your muscle mass, and you got to use your mind to expand your earning capacity.
So people say to me, what's my connection with bodybuilding? And bodybuilding, I came from the opposite direction. Bodybuilding taught me that, you know, with hard work, accountability and structure, you can have whatever physique you want, you can go whatever you want with it. Well, hard work, accountability and structure, if you apply that to anything in life, your relationship, your family, your workplace, your career, whatever it is you put it into, you use those three principles, you will succeed at it. And I guess bodybuilding taught me that. you know, I kind of looked at it and subconsciously I went off and worked hard, had accountability and structure to everything else I did in life, and somewhat that's helped me succeed in the things that I've taken on, you know?
Yeah. And it's so important that you have that routine and structure in your life. If you're one of those people like probably me and you are that can go a little bit off track if we don't have that kind of accountability.
Yeah, I need something there, as always, you know. And then I'm the complete opposite. When I have my daughter, I get my daughter every weekend. That was the agreement I had. You know, I don't care what it is. I just want to have my daughter every weekend. Turn the phone off. I don't answer the phone until Monday. Don't fucking talk to me, you know. And people know, clients know, like they'll message me and they know I won't reply until Monday morning. You know, so that way I can do these, you know, anywhere between 14 to 16 hour days through the week. Then when it's the weekend, that's my reward for myself, where I don't go out and party and stuff. But when I want to give 100% to my daughter, I can do it. There's no distractions. There's no, because even, you know, because she's only young, but they feed off your energy. And if you're thinking about finances or stresses, or you haven't got this plan done, or something hasn't been fixed at the gym, or you got to do this or got to do that, they can sense you're off, dude.
Yeah.
They sense they're smarter than you think, you know, and they feed off your energy. So when people say to me, "Oh, your daughter's so calm, she's so well behaved," you know, people stop me all the time when I'm taking her out for breakfast and lunch and dinner and things like that, and people come up, "Oh, she's so well behaved, she's so this." I'm like, well, that's a compliment for me and her mother as well, that, you know, we're always having the right energy around her to make sure she's always, I guess, performing at her best as well.
Yeah, no. And how much has like being a dad changed your life?
Dude, everyone says to you when you have a kid that your life changes, and you try to expect that. I expected about 1% of what it actually happens, if that makes sense. When she popped out, and you just kind of look at your mind starts racing. That, and when I turned 30, they were my two big milestones where just for some reason I just thought very, very differently.
Yeah. So give me an insight. So when you hit 30, because I had a similar premonition in my life, but what kind of changed for you when you hit that age?
Dude, I remember there was a thing going on at my gym, and I knew they would do it, like some sort of a surprise thing, and there was a lot of people that day there, and I'm like, fuck it, you know what, I'm 30, I don't want to see anyone today. You know, if they take that personally, fuck them. it's my birthday, you know, and that was the first Saturday I had off. That was the first it was a Saturday, and I had it off, and I booked into the Sheraton, and I was there with my daughter, and I had a really good weekend away, and I said, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I should be doing this every weekend. You know, I look at my income, I look at the hours that I work, and why am I doing this every Saturday? Every Saturday morning, going down the pool area of just the apartments I was at, you know, taking her for a swim and a coffee and getting some breakfast, and then going for a walk down, and doing these things, and I'm like, the fuck was I doing before this? Like, what do I have her for in the first place? I asked for her on the weekends. Not that I worked all weekend, but you do a couple of clients early on a Saturday, that turns into you finishing at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, what's the point? You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I still train, you know, and she'll come at me with, I train, you know, for an hour or two, but it forces me to get out quicker. But I guess when I turned 30, that was my key thing, was just understanding that, you know, I am 30 now, and the currency is time. It's not money. The currency is time. You know, what's your time worth?
Yeah, I love that. Because you have to, everyone, as far as I'm concerned, from the time you start from the time you fucking leave school, really, should put a value on the time that they have and where they put that time. Like a physical dollar value. Now, all right, when you leave school, that dollar value to you might only be like $50 an hour, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older, like for me, I value my time at thousands of dollars an hour. I don't want to be wasting it with just some fucking idiot down the road.
Yeah, completely agreed. You know,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's how you have to look at it. You know, like your time. What do you put a value in your time for? And you know, you're essentially missing out on something if you are giving some of your time.
Everything you say yes to says no to something else.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess that's what I had to do. I said, you know, if I'm going to say yes to a lot of things which I have to do in this kind of building phase in life for myself, I have to say no to it all on the weekends.
How hard is it though to be a dad that wants to be around his daughter at the weekends, but then you're in the pursuit of being this, you know, top fucking of the game bodybuilder that goes to Arnold's, that goes to all these big competitions and you know, medals and places. how obviously when you got your daughter at weekends and you want to spend time with her, but you've got to build this fucking massive physique and be on diet, and I presume as well as you can go through the diet, you're gonna, as you start cutting down calories, you're gonna start getting a little bit angry. All this shit's going on.
Bodybuilding's always been easy for me, man. It's clockwork, dude. It's routine. If you're a routine-based creature, it's easy. Kids work on routine. I work on routine. Your business works on routine. Self-progression, you're talking about breath work and shit, that is strictly on routine.
Yep.
So if you're a routine-based creature, you'll be a good bodybuilder, as simple as that. It's not about, how much weight you lift, and, I've pumped so many guys with way better genetics than me. They should be way further than what I am. And to call myself one of the best guys to come out of here at the moment, I still don't believe that, because I just know the potential that's out there. There's guys that I coach way younger than me that look up to me and think I'm all this and that, and I look at them, I'm like, dude, when I was your age, I was nowhere near you. But my thing was I just kind of kept at it, and how hard is it for me to have a daughter and do these things that I want to do? It's not hard, because to be a good bodybuilder as well, if you are just solely being a bodybuilder, you are toxic, you are heavily insecure. You spend a heap of time on Instagram looking at everyone else. You're usually talking about other fucking bodybuilders. That's why if you go on my Instagram, go find one bodybuilder that I have a photo with.
Yes.
I can't stand them. And all they ever do is just talk about fucking bodybuilding. Like when you leave this room, you don't want to talk about fucking podcasting or content removal.
Yeah.
It's your job and it's your passion, but on the weekends and you want to catch up for a coffee or a beer or a fucking drink or a meal, talk to me about something else. Don't ask me what I'm fucking competing next, because half the time you know the answer anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, bodybuilding's always been in the background. It's kind of been my baseline. It's something.
But it's not all of you. Yeah.
No, like it's as I said, I've just kept it there because that kind of structure has helped me fulfill the other needs that I've kind of looked to pursue with. And as I said, it comes back to hard work, accountability, and structure. So for me, bodybuilding, I've always gone my best at it when I've got a lot of things on. Because when you've got a lot of things on, you have to stay true to your routine. You have to do this at this time, this at that time, this at this time. Bodybuilding really is just eating, sleeping, and training. If you're doing that, it's pretty fucking boring, and you become quite lazy.
I love the fact, though, that you don't potentially want to be hanging around the people in the industry because you know how toxic they are.
Fucking oath they are. They give, the stereotype of the bodybuilder gives someone like me a bad name. Not that I'm ashamed of it, but as soon as I open my mouth, people always tend to say, oh, wow, I didn't think you were that smart, or I didn't think you were this or that. I'm like, smart, I'm not smart. I just work hard and keep myself away from people that drag me down. And that's not just bodybuilders. Like me targeting bodybuilders is probably the wrong thing to say as well. It's anyone that I see as a liability. And if you take that personally, you can take it personally. It's nothing really against you. You might be an asset to someone else, but to me, you're a liability. So fuck off. So
I love it because this is something that I've been going through, mate. And I'll tell other people to go through. It's like Instagram, for argument's sake. It's like, look who you're following, right? That you know what I mean? Do they add value to your life, or do they take value away? Do you know what I mean? If they're taking value away, don't feel bad for unfollowing these fuckers. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's the same in life.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like I had a girl working for me a while back. She was really, really good. She was a virtual assistant, and she was awesome. I just wasn't utilizing her as best as I could. But she was helping me out with my Instagram following, and went through and followed a heap of people just to help with my engagement and stuff. And the best thing she did, because now there's so many people there I follow, I don't want to go through my newsfeed anymore. You know what I mean? Because I open it and I don't know anyone that I'm following, so I'm like, oh, sweet. And there's too many people to unfollow now. I'm following like 3,000 or 4,000 people. So I'm like, fuck, I'm not even going to bother unfollowing these people. It just reminds me every time I go to scroll, I'm like, what am I looking for?
Yeah.
I have a timer on my phone as well where I don't spend any more than 30 minutes a day on social media, so it goes off so I can say, all right, you've been fucking around.
And how do you stick to it, though? Because I set the timer up to do that in my own life, and I always go fucking way past it. This is where the discipline of a bodybuilder comes in.
That's what I mean. It's just one of those things, like when the show's over, the show's over. You know what I mean? I cut it and that's it. and you have to stay off it. But the hard thing is, man, as well, like, you have to be real. Like, if you're on your phone doing replies to people,
Yep.
like I have to, if you're on your phone doing content,
Yep.
you could have someone filming some extra stuff for you while you're doing this. That's technically screen time. You know what I mean? So what have you actually been using your time on doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you're just talking to your mates, having a chat about shit, and the timer goes off, I'm like, yeah, fuck, that's done. But then I'll know, I will have to go on Instagram at some stage later that day to do a post. But I know when I go on there, I'm like, if you're going to go on there again, only do the post.
Yeah.
That's if I go over,
Yeah, I try and keep Instagram as a platform where I go on to create content and put content out to the world rather than go on and consume other people's content. And that's why I've genuinely unfollowed a lot of people. Like, I've unfollowed like 750 so far in the last 30 days. Nothing personal on those 750 people. It's just that I can't go. It's just, to me, that if I see another 750 people in the feed, it takes me down the rabbit hole, and I know that I've got an addictive personality. So I just remove the temptation.
Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of just go on there when you're scrolling and say, what are you searching for? Because really, that's what you are. When you're scrolling, you're searching.
You're searching, yeah.
You're searching for something, whether it's that, what they call a dopamine hit or whatever it is. I don't really look too far into it. I just look at it and say, when I start scrolling, and because that time has helped me, that timer doesn't have to go off. As soon as I do like 2 or 3 scrolls, I'm like, what am I doing?
Where's my energy?
But it's just a habit. It's a habit we're all bred into us now. We're all designed to scroll. So,
and it's called a feed for a reason, because it's to constantly feed you, exactly, and keep feeding you. But there's no growth in what they're feeding you.
One thing why I've kind of always been good with Instagram is because I've always seen Instagram as a competitor. Like, so when I was, because I used to be the head of security for Sin City for 5 years. It's good times, and I was bodybuilding while I was doing that and going to uni, and because I was coming up through the ranks, I could obviously see through Instagram who I was versing and everything like that, and I'm the first one to say I used to do that. And people say to me, oh, this person, he looks so fucking good, blah, blah. I'm like, chicks say it all the time, oh man, how am I going to beat her? She looks amazing. I'm like, look, go to McDonald's, right? Order a fucking Big Mac. When it comes out, have a look at the fucking Big Mac, and then have a look at the picture that you see up on your screen. That's real life. What's in front of you, up on the screen up there, that's Instagram. And straight away they go, oh yeah, when you say it like that, I'm like, yeah, because you're getting too caught up with bullshit. And it doesn't mean they're bullshitting you, but a filter is bullshit. Like, all those things is all bullshit. And you're getting caught up what you see on your phone. So really, and what you should do is you should be staying away from looking up at other people, comparing yourself to other people. Someone might have a hired Ferrari and you think, man, that guy's got a Ferrari, he's killing it. I want to go follow his online course. When as I said, it's a rented Ferrari, So those things work for people, they're making money, but I see straight through that kind of stuff. And I guess because I've been doing that for a long period of time, that's, I guess, allowed me to kind of see social media for what it is, as a business marketing tool, than what it is, a thing to be consuming other people's content.
Yeah, and the problem that I've always had with like the kind of the bodybuilding industry, and why I'll follow obviously you because you're real, but like there's a lot of bodybuilders out there that keep posting content of when they looked great, but they're not really posting about what they look like now. So they go and they go away on the trip and they take shitloads of content and then they post it all year round.
Yeah.
But they don't really look like that. So there's girls out there getting intimidated by other girls that look show ready all year round, when really the truth of the fucking matter is they don't look like that.
Yeah. And I see that all the time. That's all influencers. And I guess it obviously works for them because people fall for it, and, if that's how you want to promote yourself and it works, that's fine. I guess the demographic of people I attract are coming to me because I do tell the truth. I don't apologise for it. People can call me blunt or rude or whatever they want to call me, but they still have to respect me because they know if they ask for my opinion, they'll get it. And I guess that's just what I relay with my content. I'm a very private person. Although people see me as a bodybuilder and in my gym and I'm close to my daughter, no one knows things about me behind the scenes, so I don't go on Instagram and Facebook and promote all my emotional bullshit that you see people relay on there. And the other thing too, because I don't do that, I don't tend to invest into other people's shit. So there's no reason for me to talk badly about anyone. Or take
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
personally.
yeah.
So they do their thing. Whatever you want to do that, do it. I really don't care. You know, that's why I don't judge anyone for what they do either. But yeah, look, as a whole, like when I say that all, that's why I got nothing really against bodybuilders, or I got nothing against what people post and promote and do with all that. What works for them is what works for them. What works for me is what works for me. And I feel what's happening with social media now, podcasting work, et cetera, is that at the start, when you were doing these photos that you post year round when you go away on your trip, you know, you said you get ready for a show and you post all this, you know, to me, that's like what you call polishing a turd. Yeah. You can promote something, right? You know, people fall for it because they think you look that way year round.
Yeah.
The good thing about social media now, it's actually so flooded with that kind of stuff. People are starting to see through that bullshit. You know, so for example, like a bad review at a restaurant, yeah? You can't fuck up anymore at a restaurant. Because it's not like I'm going to tell, you know, you and 3 other mates that I got food poisoning the other night. You're going to go on social media and tell 10,000 people how fucking bad their food was, and they're going to get all these shares, and they're going to potentially
decimate their restaurant,
hurt the business. You know what I mean? Same thing for coaching. Same thing for whatever industry you're in. You know, so that's where I feel it is working to an advantage now, where the typical person posting that kind of stuff, they only have a limited time where authentic content has to be posted and utilized.
Yeah. And I think now more than ever, especially even in this podcasting game, right? There's a lot of people that are above me in the charts because they buy fake listens and this, that, and the other. But when you go and read the reviews, mate, like the reviews say it all, like in terms of like their reviews and then how my reviews sit next to them, or this, that, and the other. Not that it's a comparison game. It's just a game of like the people know the truth. The people know who's getting the genuine stuff.
Because now it's coming back to word of mouth. The old school way was word of mouth, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the best.
It's coming back round to that.
That's coming around just on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
You know? So I always think the circle always does come back round. You know what I mean? There's good times and bad times, but I feel like the good times of authentic people will shine.
Yeah, and just understand that there's so many people out there willing to show up authentically now that if you choose not to, someone will go and take what's yours.
Provide your service.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, you have to cross the T's and dot the I's. You know, like as I said, like polishing a turd before, you can get away with it because there was no one to compare yourself to. Where now, like, yeah, you can't fuck up. You know, if you're providing a service, you have to go over and above to get that rating we're all desired, you know, that we want out of it.
Fuck yeah. It's so good that we're coming back on ourselves because we need that because it gives the world a little bit more clarity. Let's go into, obviously, the building of the physique that you're building now to obviously go on stage, right? Because you're in prep, yeah?
Look, I usually have about a 3 to 4 month resting period where I just don't really train or follow my food. You know, every year I just kind of fully relax and let the body just get back down to normal.
Do all bodybuilders have that?
No.
So they stay on all year?
Yeah, I used to. But I guess the easiest way to say it is that, you know, if you speak to a chick and she's eating 1,000 calories year round, right?
Yeah.
You would say you're not going to get any leaner from doing that, and you're not going to put any muscle because your body starts to become used to that. Correct?
Yeah.
Right? So she might be overweight. She goes, "Oh, but I've been eating 1,000 calories for every year." It's like, yeah, but your body
stores it.
It knows, it thinks that's just normal now, so it's going to hold on to whatever it is because that's your new maintenance point. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I guess on the bodybuilding front, you're gearing up year round, you're eating up year round, you're training year round. Your body tends to plateau, and that's what I've noticed. You know, my body always, I would be pushing hard year round, trying to train twice a day, always trying to seek more, where just let your body chill out for a bit. You know, like over that last 3 months, I probably lost 15 kilos. You know, I just made sure I kept my body fat in check and kept nice and lean and responsive, worked more on some cardio and stretching and yoga and all that kind of shit.
So that's similar to what Kai Green does, doesn't he? He was like super flexible.
Yeah, I think being flexible and injury prevention. You know, I just got chiro just before I came here.
Yeah,
I was late.
Yeah.
You know, I do all that kind of stuff. I get massage done every week. All those things are so important, you know, for the longevity of the sport, because you're beating the shit out of your body every single week, every single day, you know.
Yeah.
So I look at it as a long-term thing. So then, really, I take 3 or 4 months off a year and just kind of relax. You know, if I want a few drinks, or, you know, I don't really track my food, I'll just have like a breakfast, lunch and dinner. When I'm hungry, I'll eat it. You know, like I'm smart with my food. I know what's healthy.
After you've been calculating food on a plate for so long, you can kind of see like the fats, carbs, and all that stuff. You don't. It's all in your head, isn't it?
And then when it's time to start back, like I started 2 weeks ago, I'm a bull at the gates
because you're dialed in.
Yeah, you've had your break. You're ready to go fuck shit up. You know. So yeah, obviously I plan to compete end of next year and get over the US and do all that. Yeah, but, you know, it's going to be a long process for that. There's a lot of preparation for that. I've got to get back and put the 15 kilos on that I lost.
So you're going to be 15 kilos heavier when you step on stage than you are what I'm looking at you right now?
No, I'll probably be about 2 kilos heavier than what I am right now.
So you're going to put 15 kilos on?
I'll be about 125 on stage.
So you put 15 kilos on and then you strip it back?
I'll probably be up to around 135, 140, something like that. That's usually what I hold.
Right. And obviously, like, how much gear do you have to do to be able to put that much weight on in that period of time?
See, that's the question everyone asks me. Like, I got young guys that come to me, and
it's the burning question that everyone has. Like, if I didn't ask the question, like, everyone would be like,
I won the Mr. Universe in Greece when I was 21 or 22.
Yeah,
and dude, it was pretty shit actually, because I was Australian and everyone else there was European. So like when I won, I got no hand claps, just like Sam Pearce, the winner. Like no one clapped because the guy that got second was from Greece.
Yeah.
And then
I'm surprised you won over there, mate. You know, with how bent bodybuilding is.
Yeah, look, it was pretty convincing.
Yeah,
pretty convincing. But anyway, I got back after that, and I'm like, well, fuck, I got what it takes. Obviously, if I can win a universe title, and you know, I just got to take more gear, and I'll get to where I got to get to.
So you literally got back and
and smashed it for about 2 months, 3 months, right? And yeah, I was taking probably 4 or 5 times the dose what I was recommended to take.
Are we talking about test or what gears? What gear? So for someone who's going to compete at the level you're competing at, what kind of gear you got to be on?
I guess this will answer your question, because what I was taking the basics. Everyone's heard about Deca and Test and D-Bowl, like when you're in your off season and things like that. So I was in my off season, I wanted to put on size, so I'm like, I'll just take shitloads of it, because that's what obviously these guys in the US do. You know, I lasted about 2 months and I didn't have an appetite. I started getting fucking cystic acne on my back. My sleep was shit. I was lethargic. I got right up to about 120 kilos and I didn't look good. It was just water weight.
Yeah. Because
I wasn't eating. So if you're putting on weight, right,
yeah,
quickly, and you're like, fuck yeah, I put on 10 kilos, but I'm only eating 2 meals a day, what do you think that weight really is? Like, work it out. Bodybuilders are dumb. Not that fucking dumb. It's all water and fat, you know. So I spoke to my coach at the time, John Davey. He owns all the world gyms, and I told him, he laughed. And I said, yeah, dude, I was trying to impress him. Like, yeah, dude, you've been on the Olympus stage, that's what I could do, isn't it? He's like, you're a fucking idiot, you know. And he said, don't do this. And then we brought it right back down to a quarter of what I was using at the time, and all of a sudden my body started growing. Why? Because I started eating my food consistently.
Yeah.
And I started training a whole lot fucking harder.
Yeah. So I was
funny that, isn't it? You know, so and then everyone says, oh yeah, you know, to be that size, you know, you got to run fuckloads of gear. It's like, no, like people don't realize just this week I went and got an echocardiogram.
Yeah.
I went and got my blood glucose, the GTT levels checked. I get a full blood count with about another 7 other list of what's on there, so I know how my testosterone, all my hormones are reacting, and then from there I'll decide how much I've got to use. But I'm telling you right now, what I use compared to the guys that come in and see me, I use less than them. And they keep saying, oh, he's full of shit, And I'm like, well, how did I have a kid a week after Arnold, she was conceived? A week after my Arnold's Pro Show, my recent one that I did in 2019, she was conceived.
Yeah.
If I was banging as much gear as what everyone says I was, how the fuck was she conceived? Because she came out looking like me, so it's not someone else's kid. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing, right? So I know what you say is true, because I was watching an interview of Ronnie Coleman, right? And Ronnie Coleman stated that, and I fully believe Ronnie Coleman when he says this. He says that when I was at my best, I was taking less gear than the average person that goes to the local gym.
It's true, man. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, now I'm pro. I talk to the guys in the US. You know, like Sean Roden, who recently passed away from his heart attack. You know, like, and people say, "Oh, do you reckon that was from gear?" I'm like, I know he only ran gear for 3 months a year, getting ready for a show. That was it. That was it. He had previous heart problems that no one else tends to ask the question about first. They just think he must be just run fuckloads of gear. He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Look, gear probably didn't help it.
Yeah,
but he didn't fucking have a heart attack from them copious amounts of gear. You know, there's so many guys I've versed, younger guys I've coached, and they're using fuckloads of shit, and they just don't believe me. I'm like, this is why I competed for 3 years naturally before I did any of this shit.
You serious?
That dude from America that approached me, I competed him only when I was natural for 3 years.
Fuck.
So I learned what hard dieting and fucking training was. And I realised, okay, that's what it is. So obviously when I started...
There's not many kids that can say that.
Well, when I started boosting up, that's when you realise, you're like, yeah, it helps. But it's not the fucking be-all and end-all. You know, it's just, unfortunately, people just tend to think it's gear because bodybuilders admit to taking it. Now, don't get me wrong. There is guys that use shitloads of stuff. But they're not the best guys.
Really?
No way. No fucking way.
So you reckon then the best guys in the world right now, in your game, are running less gear than a local guy down the world gym?
To a certain extent, yes. If we're talking about the local guy at the world gym that I'm thinking about versus what you're thinking about, yeah, fuck yeah. I remember guys just saying to me, you got to take 2 grams of test and a gram of tren and 100 mega D-bol a day. I can go on all day about doses.
Yeah.
You know, I could name and shame fuckloads of people too. But I'm not about that. They just obviously don't know themselves. So when I get come out and called a liar, it's like, no, you know how good it is that I just went and recently freeze sperm and it only took me 4 weeks to get fertile for it? Now, either my gear's fake or I just don't run what you fucking think I run. When I come off for 4 months a year, I come off for usually 4 months. I come off for 3 months this time. 3 to 4 months every year, I do it. Yeah. When I cruise and I get blood tests every 3 months and things like that, I fucking do it. So I make sure everything's always working how it is. Yes, I went and got sperm frozen, and I had 5 tubes first go, frozen, high quality.
Fuck yeah.
You know, and apparently gear makes you infertile. Well,
I reckon that's because you're a bald legend, though, not because of the gear.
That's actually scientifically proven as well.
Yeah, mate, 100%. If you're a bald geezer, you have higher testosterone than geezers with hair. 100%.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
100%, bro.
So then, you know, people come back and say, oh, but, you know, are you bald now because of the gear? It's like, man, I had hair right up until about fucking my daughter was born. You know, probably the stress from that maybe. Or the fact that my dad's bald.
Yeah.
His dad was bald. My mum's dad was bald. Her brother's fucking bald. So maybe it could be genetic, but let's just say it's the gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are always the first thing to question that.
See, I used to be like a bit anti-gear and all that stuff until I started to meet more people like yourself that do it, and then I've had more open conversations about it. And that's why I want to have the conversation about it and what kind of trajectory you're on now, because it opens it up to people to think of it as different. Like, because every fucking performance athlete in the world takes gear.
They do.
Every sprinter, every fucking elite level boxer, I promise you, I swear to God, look at fucking Canelo, right?
Dude, I've ridden cycles for some of them, right? Now, these guys all work hard, but they all do it. Yeah, it's like when I see when I get the cyclists and they get done for it, I think it's so unfair, because I'm like, they were all doing it. That's why they didn't re-give the medal to anyone else, because they were all doing it anyway. So to take it off him in the first place is fucking bullshit, right? Essentially what gear does, and why it gives a bad stereotype to people, is because people get into bodybuilding for the wrong reasons, right? I got into bodybuilding because I like the lifestyle of it. That's why when people say COVID has come, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about shows? I don't give a fuck about shows. I still follow my diet and train because I like doing it. It keeps me in routine.
Yes.
And it allows me to do everything else. Other people now compete. It should be on the fucking signing waiver when you sign up to a gym. Do you want to compete even though you've never trained before? Because it's fashion now. It's a fad. People want to do it, which is great that it's growing, but people are doing it for validation more than what they are doing it for the love of it.
Yeah, they want to be IFPB pro in their Instagram bio.
And they've never done a show, been to a show, or trained the gym for longer than a week, or followed a diet for longer than a day. So the problem with that is that when you start mixing hormones with already such a weak mentality, you become more of a weakling. So if you're a fuckwit in the first place, you're a bigger fuckwit. If you're insecure, you're going to become more insecure. If you're arrogant, you're going to be more arrogant. You know, it's the same thing. Like, whatever you are in that first place, or whatever the reason why you were getting into it, that's what you will turn into it more so.
A lot of people in your industry, though, that are building these big outside physiques are soulless inside anyway. They should have done the inside work before they even got in the gym, but they've just took the gear to build the outside to look like fucking Superman.
All the gear and no idea. That's what I call them. You know, that's why they can't hold a conversation about anything else except for someone else. You know, that's why I say to people, you know, when they'll talk about this or whatever, and I'll say, name one person that I've dropped. You know, one person I've spoken badly about, because I don't talk about other people. You know, you would never know anyone that I hate because I don't talk badly about them. And there's people that fucking I can't stand, but you'd never know about them because I don't care enough to talk about them. You know, where I find people not just bodybuilders, people in the fitness industry just tend to just rag shit on people all the time. And they're heavily insecure and they're not comfortable with their own skin, hence why they have to constantly bring people down. But you're never going to be the tallest building by knocking down other buildings. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
So when you get gear mix involved with these type of people, it amplifies the shit out of it.
Yeah.
That's why for me, gear is just always, I've just seen it as a performance enhancer. I can come off it, it doesn't affect me. Don't get me wrong, it's shit that when I'm not walking around 135 because I like being, you know, big and robust and hard and training and things like that. But when it's time to come off, it's time to come off. And there's going to be a time where I've got to come off and finish it forever. You know, like it's like any sport, it's limited. It's not a forever fairy tale. You know, you will have to come off it one day. And for me, it's never really been a problem. Like, that's why I can come off, and when I feel like it's time to come off, just come off. It is what it is.
So in this cycle that you're in right now, obviously leading up to a show, what kind of things do you have to take, like, right the way through, and kind of what are the doses of that to get you to where you're going?
Doses of it. Doses vary. You know, like someone my size, I'm trying to give it as layman's as possible because I know you have a big crowd of people listening to this and watching this, so I want to make sure I can kind of speak in layman's terms. But you wouldn't. I never really like to go over, say, 1,500 megs total of everything. You know, where guys will use 2 grams of test just to get started. You know, and they're amateurs. You know, but for me, you know, if you're getting, you know, quality stuff, you know, and all you really kind of work through is just your different esters and how they release, and I guess what binding agents work with each other, and as soon as you kind of know that formula, that's what you use. So really, me saying to you what a cycle is, like the cycle that works for you versus me, is completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why if I go out and say that, you know, I use decamasteron and test in one cycle, guys will go, fuck, that's what I got to use.
Yeah, but
in reality, no, it's not.
It's not. You need to, but I just want to make it abundantly clear as well. You get your bloods checked, and you get all your blood work and your cardiograms and all that shit done before
you. Phone, bro.
Before you even do
Just
all
ask
that
question
shit.
again.
Yeah.
Just ask that question again. I'll tell you.
Which question?
I'll just to make it clear, I get my bloods and everything done. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. We're live. I'll leave it unedited.
Okay, yeah, sweet, all right.
Yeah, I'll just leave it unedited. I don't edit fuck all.
No, I'll just give you the list of what I got done just this week. So, complete blood count, LFT liver test, KFT kidney test, cholesterol carriers, DHT, testosterone, estrogen, iron studies, blood sugar. I got an echocardiogram done this week. I got a fertility test done 2 weeks ago, where this time I actually did freeze sperm. That's every 3 months. Echocardiograms once a year.
Do most bodybuilders freeze sperm because they're worried about, like...
I did.
Yeah.
Look, there's still side effects, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like my hair loss, for example. That was probably...
enhanced.
Accelerated. You know, but it's going to happen anyway. So instead of having it at 40, I probably got it at 30. But yeah, it's the same thing with being fertile. Just because I pumped a kid out a week after Arnold's doesn't mean it could affect me long term. You know, that doesn't mean it's going to affect me long term. You know what I'm saying? So I still want to have that insurance policy. You know, maybe later in life,
you want other kids,
although it might be a year down the track, it might be 10 years down the track. It might be my dad had me when he was 48, and my brother at 50. If I do want to go down that path at that age, I want to make sure I still have an insurance policy that if I'm with someone, I can't get them pregnant. That could just be an age thing, dude. Trying to get someone pregnant at 50 is going to be hard as it is.
Yeah.
I'm still open to it. That's what kept my dad young. He's almost 80 now, and he's still kicking hard because he's got different generations of kids and grandkids that force him to keep young. So
he's got a purpose.
So my thing, I'm definitely not closed off to having kids later in life. So I just want to make sure if I ever did go on that path for whatever reason, it's there. And now when I go compete and do the things I've got to do, I don't have anything in the back of my mind saying, should I have done that?
Yeah.
Some of
the guys that I know, especially in like the Instagram world that have a bit of a following, are struggling right now because they hit gear so hard and they didn't do what you did, and they hit it so hard that they've got gyno and they've got all sorts of shit going on. They lost their balls, they're fucked, all the hormones are out because they're not speaking to the right people. Take me for instance, right? If I was going to go and get bang on the gear, you think I'm going to come and ask you about it, because I'm not going to just go in there blind. But a lot of people go in there blind, completely fucking blind.
Well, unfortunately, when people come to me and I say, let's just start you off on 250 mega test, or if you're experienced, let's start you on 500 mega tests, and they go, oh, but I've heard I've got to do this, and this, and this. I'm like, well, we can, but let's just start. Actually, when someone first comes to me, I say, get off everything you're doing. Let's just go 4 to 8 weeks and see what your body responds with food and training first, to see if that's working correctly.
Yeah, 100%.
And your body's working correctly. Then we'll talk about.
Because most people are under eating, let's be honest.
Yeah. So let's just see what's happening there first. Then we can talk about it. They get discouraged and they go, oh, fuck, I'd just rather be told what I want to hear by old mate at the gym who's never competed, or he's probably done one show and fucking stood at the back of the stage, has no idea what the fuck he's talking about, and just because he says, oh, yeah, but I know a guy and he gets the best shit, and, let's just run this and this and this. People want to hear that. And that's with anything. People want to be told things, and they'll look for that answer, and because they get told by that right person, they'll listen to that person, off they go. In turn, fucks them long term. And really these days there's so much education out there and good quality coaches out there. It's not just me doing it. If you sift through the bullshit, there's plenty of good people out there that can give you quality advice. Back when I first started, in those first 2 years until I met John, I was just listening to fuckwits in the gym. And where are they now? Fucking nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because, and another thing is, it's not just about the gear that you take and how much gear you take. It's also about like where you put it and how you train when you're on it, because there's a lot of people walking around that take gear that've got no fucking legs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, we have weak body parts. Genetically we have weak body parts, but these guys just get on the gas. There's no uplift to them because, as I said, they rely on the gas instead of using it as performance enhancer. Yeah, like all these top athletes. You just said to me before, right? All these all sports take it. All high end
100%
people in the Olympics have to. Your sports doctor for the Australian Olympic team is trying to find ways that are still legal to help you perform better. That's what they're there for.
100%.
Why else do you need a sports doctor?
There's not a chance. There's not a chance in a month of Sundays that the Australian swimming team aren't on gear.
Okay, so when they first started swimming in the pool in their teenage years, were they on gear? No, they fucking worked hard. They worked hard until they made it to a top level. They met a sports doctor, and they're bending the rules, and
they cycle on, cycle off.
And look, like it's no discredit to them, because I know
100%.
When you use it, they have to work so much harder. That's what people don't get. Like, if you're going to be at that level and you're going to know deep down that the Russian team, the China team, and all these guys are using it, you're going to be like, well, fuck, I've got to work even harder. Like when I was natty from when I got on the gear myself, the difference in physiques that I saw, I'm like, fuck, man, I got to. It's not just about this. I got to step up. Like, these guys are fucking nuts. And that's the same thing. Like, when I did my first pro show, I went from winning every show I did in the amateurs and cleaning up, and I'd go to a pro show and I got fucking pumped. I got 12 out of 14. Last call out. It's never happened to me in my whole career. I'm like, I was just sitting there, not disappointed. I was just shocked. I'm like, holy shit. Like, these guys aren't. It was like my realization too. Like, maybe I had a 1% thought in there. Maybe it was still the gear, you know? It was that realization for me when I looked at them. I go, these guys are just fucking next level. They train and they live and fucking breathe this shit.
Yeah, and and gear doesn't make the athlete. That's what a lot of people say. Gear makes you a winner. No, it doesn't. It's like, but like it's like the swimmers that I'm talking about. Yeah, and no one will ever admit that, but it's a fucking fact. But let's just take that. How the fuck these are naturally gifted people that have worked hard their whole life, and they've got to go and compete with like you say, the Russian and the Chinese team. That are all genetically modified and in fucking enhanced in some area. You can't beat kids if you don't even out the playing field. At the highest of heights, you cannot beat it.
And that's why this also sounds harsh, but at the end of the day, if you know you're aware of bodybuilding, right? But you're not a diehard fan like everyone else, but you're aware of.
I'm aware of it.
You could name a Mr. Olympia for me right now, couldn't you?
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman.
Name
Jay Cutler.
Name the natural Mr. Olympia, just one of them. See, exactly.
Yeah, but you know my favorite was Frank Zane.
No, so he's not natural.
Yeah, I know he's not natural, but
my point
he's probably
is,
the closest to looking.
My point is, right, is that no one gives a fuck if you're natural. Yeah. Right. Everyone knows Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler were using shit, and the crowds fill to watch them, right?
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, if you could see someone run 100 meters in 4 seconds, no one would go to the Natural Olympics anymore. Everyone would tune in to see, I want to see this fucking guy run in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
I want to see a swimmer swim 50 meters in 5 seconds. Like,
100%,
that's what people will pay to see. And all of a sudden, the drug thing will go out the window. Unfortunately, again, society shames it so badly, but in reality, they're all doing it. So if you just let it run an open field, let doctors study and become doctors to watch them safely. Yeah. Right? And people say, but they can die from it. Well, look at an F1 driver. That's one of the most fucking dangerous sports. And I'm guaranteed an F1 Formula 1 racing driver would have a higher chance of fucking dying than a swimmer cycling on throughout their career to have a faster swimming time, if they have a doctor's supervision as well.
100%. But what I like, I've been reading a lot into like people that take like what Lance Armstrong was taking was like, he was on like a fucking human growth hormone. He was like on EPO, like blood transfusions and stuff. Like, but actually, it all sounds like dark arts. But when you actually read into the papers behind some of these things that he was on, they actually make you look younger. They make you feel better. They make you perform better. They actually enhance your health.
Well, that's the thing. People don't realise for males. If your testosterone is too high, it can be risky to your health. But if your testosterone is too low, it can be extremely risky for your health.
Can ruin your girlfriend's life too.
Yeah, fucking oath it can. So yeah, you should have. If your test is low, you should be taking some sort of supplement test to get to a certain level. HGH. HGH is known for anti-aging. If you go to any anti-aging clinic, HGH is one of the main things they use for that. Provided you fit within their
it's all just
scale to prescribe.
It's all just dosage, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, as I said, the bad stereotype comes from people using and abusing, and they think more is better, but more is not better. It's just the right formula for that person under the right supervision. And getting the correct tests done to make sure you're always healthy for longevity. I still want to make sure that one day I can do whatever I want with my daughter as she grows up.
Yeah.
And I want to have kids later on in life, so that's my first priority, is making sure that I'm always healthy, that my sport is an extreme sport, and I understand that. But I look at the longevity of things.
Have you noticed from running human growth hormone yourself that like it's actually like in terms of like enhanced, like the anti-aged you kind of thing? Like, have you noticed any? What are the benefits you've noticed from it?
Not really, dude. People still think I look like I'm fucking 40 when I'm 30. But no, yeah, you're right. My skin is tighter, and I guess since I started doing that. But yeah, look, there's all great health benefits to using it, and there's there's effects if you use too much of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, as a whole, I think there's great drugs out there as well, like metformin for insulin sensitivity and anti-aging as well. That doctors are starting to kind of figure out now that it's not just used for diabetics. But again, that's a whole another story. But like when I listen to different podcasts and stuff now, you hear about high-end businessmen using metformin and human growth hormone. They don't train; they're just using it for their anti-aging and general health.
Yeah,
you don't have to be a bodybuilder to use this shit, is what I'm saying.
I just the way I see some of the drugs that we're talking about right now is no different to a girl that goes and gets fucking injectable fillers, right? Essentially, she's trying to anti-age herself, and there's more. Those are toxins that you're putting in your body to make yourself look anti-aged. What we're talking about here are some things that are proven to actually enhance you, but are also pretty much safe if you take the right amount of dosage.
Yeah, like the usual people that are criticising this as well are the guys that are out at Sin City I'd see every weekend.
Doing the cocaine.
Spending fucking money on bags all night. That's the fucking worst thing if you're aging. Being up all night, having benders, drinking, partying, doing the same shit, saying, that you're ruining your life. And I'm like, well, am I? Like, I follow a diet. I go to bed early every night. I'm in a good routine. I'm working hard on my craft and working hard on everything else. If that's your version of bad, I just let you do your thing.
What is the daily routine? Run it down for me, like from wake up to go to bed. Like, what is the daily routine for you?
Wake up for me, I usually have, I always spend about an hour or two to myself on my self-work, so my morning routine usually involves some sort of low-intense cardio.
Yep.
Reading, meditation, breath work, gratitude. They're big things I try and include every single day.
So not many people have heard a bodybuilder say that they do breath work and they do gratitude and do you know what I mean? And reading in the morning. Like there's not many people that hear in bodybuilders say this.
Yeah, I do that every single day. And then I started my own work for the business that I work on. The business this is where I cut out all my 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. clients. I work on the business through that time where I know the phone's not going to ring.
Yep.
So I work hard on my business and then I get stuck into my calls, consultations, or I still do some PT work as well out of the gym. And I just go flat out from there till about 6 p.m. at night. Stop in between, obviously, for my meals. Train about 6:30ish. Finish up about 8:30 at night. Get my last meal in, obviously, and hit the sack and redo it all over again. The only difference on my Saturday and Sunday, I just train early morning. Bring the baby in. I've just got a new puppy as well, so they're best friends. So I keep them busy while I train in the morning, and then I still follow my meals for the rest of the day on the weekend. I just don't work. That's it. I just go and if I want to take in the park, go to Wet n Wild, do what I've got to do. Yeah, I leave that free.
Yeah, and how many times do you train each body part? Do you break it down where you go like upper day and then lower day, or do you
just depends what I'm trying to seek for that moment. For me, I'm always trying to work on my craft and have an equal physique. So it could be a body part every single week. It could be multiple body parts in one day. It's like how you asked me before, what's the best cycle to use? Like it's kind of like what's the best training to use? How long is a piece of string?
Yeah,
it depends what your phase and what's best for you in that certain time. Obviously at times where my calories are going to get a lot higher soon, I'm going to go through and putting weight back on. I just let it happen. So lower volume, heavier weight, let the body respond in that way.
6 to 8 reps.
Yeah, along those lines. Yeah.
So what obviously now you're going into a phase where you're putting on 15 kilos, right?
Mm.
What kind of weight would you squat now, and what are you looking to squat? Do you know what I mean?
I've squatted up to 6 plates for 8 reps. That's always a good move for me. I deadlift up to 7 plates, bench press up to 4 plates, but now, and what I tell everyone, it's just you have certain mechanical pathways that work well with your physique, and that's what you got to stick to. Just because I'm good at squatting doesn't mean it's great for my quads.
Yep.
You understand? But you still have to do some sort of squatting pattern, but it might be a Smith machine squat, a hack squat, a V squat, a front squat. You know, you just have to kind of figure out what pathway is best for you, because obviously your levers will be different to mine versus to hers versus to his, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And when you figure out what works for you, you stick on that and you progress on it. You get stronger at it, because a stronger muscle will always be a bigger muscle. It doesn't mean you have to hit it for one rep. You know, time on attention is not time on attention where it's slow reps like this all day. That's not time on attention. Time on attention is getting a fucking weight and lifting it for as long as you can with proper execution. It's as simple as that. You don't overcomplicate it. It's old school. You just hit the numbers, make sure you progress every time, and when you milk it and then obviously you reach a plateau with that certain exercise, it's time to change things up.
Yeah, when I was watching again, like someone like Ronnie Coleman, it was like so old school, but it's so relevant, and it just obviously he probably does it a little bit harder, and probably you're probably a bit more smart on how you lift the weights rather than how Ronnie was, because he's fucked himself 7 weights from Sunday, but he literally just went in and was like, right, I gotta shift that much weight, and I just gotta keep lifting it until I can't lift it no more. Yeah,
dude. I guess what's happened over the years is we've obviously learned from guys like him what works and what really doesn't work long term. But the main thing I've noticed throughout this whole journey, man, is that as I've become more serious with this shit, it becomes far more basic. The training, the gear, the food, there's no secret remedy. It's just routine and execution, what works well for you. Hard work, accountability, and structure. That's it. Don't have to go. There's no right exercise for anyone. There's no right training program. You just got to the hardest part is just figuring out what works best for you, and then you just stick to it, and you don't change it because it's been 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
And people can apply that analogy to their business, to their mindset, to anything. Just find out what works for you and implement that in your life, and and stick with it. It's like I've asked you about a whole array of questions about the gear and all this, that, and the other, but it's like, and like you say, you could tell me 16 different fucking ways, but it's like whatever works for my body works different for your body, and it's just like it's like that the whole game.
The hard part is just figuring that out through trial and error.
Yeah,
and once you figure that out, you find that right formula and you stick with it and you go with it. Ronnie Coleman did the same routine for all his 8 Mr. Olympias. Didn't change his diet once. Just did the same thing, training wise, I assume gear wise. And he was 8-time Mr. Olympia. Once you find your remedy, you go ahead, you use it, it works, stick to it. And as you said, sticks to business, everything else. Don't fix what isn't broken.
Yeah. When you go out to America, do you look to surround yourself with the absolute best in the game, or do you keep yourself to yourself? And
everything I do, I always hang around people better than me.
Yeah.
I don't. So the 5 people I stick close to have better family values than me, make more money than me, and are better bodybuilders than me. That's it. So that way I'm always striving to be like them.
That is so clinical that people just get what Sam's just said there, because it's so if you implement that into any point in your life, you just can't go fucking wrong.
And that's the thing. And that way, if I'm always the bottom, I call myself a bottom feeder. If I'm always the bottom feeder, I'll always be accountable to myself. There is no way you'll ever hear me blame someone. I could have a staff member working in the gym fuck something up, right? It's my fault. I hired the staff member.
Yep.
Accountability
and owning the fact that everything that happens to you is your fucking fault. As soon as you accept that, you can't go fucking wrong.
Exactly. You can always relay it back to you somehow, and there's a learning lesson out of it, and that's why when people say to me, "Oh, do you think negative?" when you say, you're expecting something bad to happen, it's like, no, I just want another challenge. It's a challenge for me. It's a learning curve. Things in life are going too good. At the moment, things in life are going too good. I'm waiting for something to fucking happen to me that's going to be bad. I don't think that way. Well, guess what? It can happen, and it will happen. And I want to be ready to attack it and laugh and go, fuck, all right, this is the challenge. Is this all? Is this it?
Yeah.
And I go and hammer it. And that's how I bounce back every single time. I sit there and cry about it and whinge about it. Don't get me wrong, I'll be pissed off when something happens. But as soon as I have my little tanty, then I'm like, all right, face up. How are you going to fix it?
You just want that. You just want to prepare yourself for the challenge.
I need it. Life's boring otherwise. I might as well sit at home in Cockmore and not leave the house. I need these challenges, because I know it's growth. challenges of growth. You know, you go to the gym, you know, you want to talk meathead talk, you go to the gym, you put yourself in pain, you know you're going to grow from it. I see, you know, you're a boxer at heart, you know, so when you're out of breath and you feel like you're going to die, you don't love it at the time, but when you get in your car and drive home, you go, fuck yeah, that was good. Because you know you're better for it.
Yeah, yeah. Awful, mate, I swear by boxing training because of just how pure and beautiful it is in terms of like, it teaches you everything, like the flow, you got the cardiovascular in there, and you just cannot think of bullshit that's going on outside externally.
Yeah, if you're off, you get knocked the fuck out. Yeah,
and it's just like it's a complete. You completely take yourself to a different place. So like boxing as a training aspect should be what everyone does because it's like a form of meditation, like similar to what weights is to you.
Yeah, correct. And I love any kind of boxing, MMA, anything like that. I just obviously can't do it now. But I used to do a lot of it in my amateur years. I just can't do it now because, you know, if I'm hitting the pads with someone and I miss a pad, my shoulder's out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the only shit thing, you know, with me now. Like if I love playing tennis, I love kicking a football.
So you have to give up a lot of stuff to pursue this bodybuilding game.
Yeah. It's like anything, you know, like it's like any sport. They can't go out and play other sports because there's a risk of tearing something. Yeah. So that's the only shit.
And also, let's be honest, right? You're conditioning your muscles and your tendons to move in a certain way, and boxing is a completely different way.
Well, dude, I went wakeboarding on the weekend, and when I fell off the board, I'd swimming back, did a frog kick, pulled my right adductor. That was just getting worked on the chiro just there. Because obviously I don't do that movement. You
don't do that movement, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not a pattern.
I didn't tear it, but I could feel it go, and I'm like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, and that's that. You know, that's why when you're conditioning yourself to operate in a certain box, you know, when you can't, especially when you're competitive like you are, you can't step out of it at certain points.
No, you know, but that's why I'm always ready to do those things for when I finish. I know this is a timeline, and it will finish at some stage, and I'd love to get back on those things when I finish. But so tennis, surfing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, you know, all those things.
How long you got left?
I've always given myself very real expectations. So if I didn't win a show when I was natural, I'd never get on the gear.
Yep.
If I didn't win a national title by the time I was 23, I'm finished. If I don't turn pro by 25, I'm finished. If I'm not on the Mr. Olympia stage by the time I'm 30, I'm finished. Now, 32 now because COVID fucked me for 2 years, so I'm going to say 32. So if I'm not on the Olympia stage by 2023, I'm out. And people will say, oh, you know, are you quitting? I'm like, no, it's not.
No, you just had a fucking good go, didn't you?
It's just, you know, I give it 100%. I give it 100% for me in that time, but I'm not going to be one of those battlers just turning up, you know, coming last at shows. You know, it's not. People say, "Oh, you know, why don't you just do it to have fun?" I don't have fun losing. You know, like losing teaches me my best lessons. But fuck, I don't want to keep losing and paying money and missing out on quality time and that I could be spending with my daughter and shit. You know, they're big sacrifices. You know, so for me, I'm giving myself 2 years to make it to the Olympia stage. If I do, then yeah, I'll continue on. If I don't, I don't. It is what it is. Like I don't love it that much that I love to compete just for the sake of competing. You know, the funny part is the actual last week where I got to exfoliate and tan and do all that shit. I fucking hate that whole peak week bullshit. I can't stand it. It's just I just want to get up there and do it. And you know, I'm competitive. I like that part, but the whole lead up in that last week's just a fuck around. You know, so for me,
you're fucking hungry. You're fucking dying down.
By the end of it, you're over it. I don't care who you are. You're over it. So you know, as I said, 2 years to make it to the Olympia from next year. So 2022 and 2023. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I can walk away and say I'm very, very happy.
What's the percentage chances of it happening in your estimation?
100%.
I like it. And when you get there,
I guess for
in
me,
the condition that you know you can get in, what you know, is it something that you have to get there and experience, or do you think you could literally get on there and win it in the first fucking?
Well, it's like when I did my first Arnold's. When you go from being an amateur to Arnold's, it's like going from playing for the Burleigh Bears to go play for the Queensland Maroons. I haven't actually done a pro show where I'm playing in like the NRL.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I've leapfrogged that.
Yeah.
That's why I got pumped in my first year, you know. But they allow you to do it because you're Australian, you put bums on seats, yeah? So Tony was very kind to give me that opportunity to be against literally the best in the world, like the top 6 of the top 6 of Mr. Olympia. You know, and that was my first show. So I'm backstage with these guys. I'm like, holy shit, man, these guys are fucking nuts. So, but I said, you know, if I'm going to do this show, you know, I'm not going to get a top 6 or a first call out. Just don't come dead last. Otherwise, you're out. I got 12th out of 14. So I said, okay, well, the following year, if you're going to do it again.
You got 7th, didn't you?
Got 7th. So I said, you got to get a top 10. You have to get top 10. Otherwise, you just don't have it. Got 7th, so I kind of said to myself, sweet. You know, I just have these realistic goals to say to myself, you know, if you're at your best is what I mean too. Like if I know I'm at my best like I was those 2 years and I got dead last, dude, you just
knock it on the head, yeah.
Wake up to yourself.
Not knowing when to quit and when you've had enough of the game and literally knowing when your ladder's leant against the wrong wall is that self-awareness is a skill. And self-awareness is a skill that every human, whether you're in business, life, whatever you're trying to achieve, has to learn that self-awareness. You have to be honest with yourself.
Like, here's the other thing, Frankie. People like to compete. People like to go there and get last. I don't know how they do, but they like it. Ronnie Coleman was getting last for like 5 years before he won a show. And he had guys that he was eventually beating. I'm saying, dude, what are you doing this for? You're coming around the world to come last. And he's like, I just love it. Now, he ended up being the best ever. Right, but for some people, that's a very, very low percentile chance for that to happen.
He was he
me,
had the genetics as well, though, bro.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He just needed time. Other people live in that same dream, dude. The dream's over, you know. But if you like to compete just for doing it, that's all good. That's
cool.
That's just not me, you know. Like I'm a winner. I want to progress. I want to see how far I can go with something, and I give it a hard crack, and then that way I won't be sitting at the pub when I'm fucking 70 years old saying, "Oh, I could have, should have, fucking done that." You know, if I went further, I could have been this. No one gives a shit. You know, I went as hard as I could. That's where I made it. That's that.
Mate, to have placed where you've placed, obviously 7th in an Arnold Classic, it's not a fucking bad achievement anyway. If that was your lot.
Yeah, but you know, I don't put that on my Instagram because you're still a loser. Second's the first loser, dude. You know, and I'll never brag about shows that I got 2nd at or 7th at. It's like I made progression, great, but you're still a loser.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in the business world and you do a job and you're the 7th best at your job, well, guess what? You won't be making the income that you want to make.
But am I right in thinking though that obviously muscle takes time to not only build but refine and to get the and to get like the grain and all the detail and the feathering that you get in the muscle, right? So surely even when you get to on this Olympia stage, you're going to be competing against some of the most refined animals in the world, right there.
Yeah. And look, when I get to Olympia, it's just to get to the Olympia first.
Yeah.
And then obviously if I qualify for the following year, then yeah, you got to try and get a top 10.
That's what I'm saying. So like, what's the top, on average for someone at that level, what is the time frame between getting to the Olympia and being able to be in the top 1, 2, 3?
Oh man, you got guys that can be in the top 5, which is proven between 25 to 30 if they're genetically gifted in that way, and their life is bodybuilding. That's the other thing too. Like, not to make excuses, but a lot of these guys do just eat, sleep, and train. They have sponsorships, and that's their job to just be a bodybuilder. And when you know, if you look at, I look at Mai, she's almost 2 years old now. She's grown so much. Why? Because she sleeps all the time. If you had that time to just eat, sleep, and train, you could do it. But I personally don't want to do that. So you do put yourself at a disadvantage. That's not taking anything away from them, though. They're genetic freaks and they fucking work hard. So for me, it's going to be a later process. So for me to kind of get that level, I know I need a good probably 4 or 5 years to kind of be up there, around there. And bodybuilding is an old man's sport. You know, it does take time. Like Sean Roden won his first Olympia at 43. You know, so as long as you be smart about it and live the lifestyle like I'm promoting, you can do it for a very long time.
Yeah, you got some longevity there.
Yeah.
Nah, there's so much fucking to it. And do you think being Australian like leaves you at a weakness because of the probably lack of sponsorship you get compared to like the Americans?
I don't really chase sponsorships because you're working for someone else. Sponsorship isn't a sponsorship. You're working for someone. You have requirements.
Right.
So although they're sponsoring you to do something, you still have requirements for that. For me, I'd rather, instead of relying on something that's going to end when my bodybuilding career ends, I'd rather start something now. So when my bodybuilding career ends, I've still got that income coming through.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Mate.
anyone in sport should be doing that. That's any sport, but they don't do that. They just think that they live the high life and they have all these endorsements and contracts. Then you'll see NRL players 5 years after their contracts driving a bus. It's true, dude.
Fuck yeah. You know, when we talk about sponsorship, it resonates for me because, like, I've been approached by so many people wanting to sponsor the podcast but the thing is, I won't sell myself out for the kind of shit that they want to do. And
if you believe in a product, I understand it. You know what I mean? But
not just any old fucking shit, though.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're still a business, dude. So you shouldn't let that.
I can't see you promoting BCAAs.
Look, like, you know, there's products I believe in, there's products I don't. But for me as a whole, it's just one day, whether you believe in it or not, when my career ends, they end. It's a business, dude. So if I'm not pulling them in income from that, I'm cut too, which is nothing personal. I'd just rather have something there that I've made an empire for myself. So if it ends, it's like, sweet, I can still do what I do and make money out of it.
So Sam Pearce, next 12 months, what are you ticking off the list?
Ticking off the list.
What's getting done?
Obviously, I want to get back on the pro stage. That's something I've kind of been itching for. And to see myself being able to work more remote and be, I guess, financially free in that matter. So if I want to go compete, I can take my online business overseas. But I still have passive income coming in from my gym and just keeping that expand to where it needs to be. You know, I had a kind of 12-month business plan for it to kind of pay for itself after 12 months, and I did it in 3. So I was pretty happy with that. So now I kind of see that as like, all right, well, I know I guess I'm going in the right direction. Now I want to excel on that. I'm on a good wicket, so I'm gonna push harder on that, so I can essentially live from that income, which allows me to be more free in my time to do things I want to do, which could be investing in more business. It could be whatever ideas I want to do and do, or it could be as simple as not putting my daughter in daycare as much and taking her out more through the day.
Yeah.
You know, why not? But I want to have that freedom to do that.
Yeah. And freedom is the only currency.
Correct, yeah. Time. Yeah, I want to have whatever time I want to do. I don't have to explain to anyone. Off I go, get it done.
So if you were going to give some advice then to the people listening that may want to pursue a career in bodybuilding or a career where fitness and competitive fitness, competitive athletes out there that might want to include this, like, do you know what I mean? What kind of advice would you give them through your learning? What's your best piece of advice?
I could leave this podcast as we finish up, say goodbye, shake your hand, see you later, get in my car, drive back to my gym, get T-boned by a car, and I'm fucking dead. Right? And people say, oh, don't say that, you know, because it can happen. Well, guess what? It can fucking happen. So what was my last thought before that happened? You know, are you happy in that frame of mind before you get hit by that car and you're fucking dead? Are you happy with everything in your life, with the life that you lived? And people will say, oh, that's cheesy, like you can die tomorrow. Well, it's true, you know. I was good mates with Sean Road, and I got a call fucking 2 weeks ago that he was dead. And I was just showing people in my gym how he was in my hotel room helping me pose for my last show. You know, I broke down that day and it was very emotional for me. I've had a lot of people in my life die tragically. You know, I've had guys that have, you know, been murdered, died from drug overdoses and all these things, and you're talking just how you and I are right now, the day before. So life is short, so you better be doing what you love doing. And if you are doing something you truly love doing and you have a passion for it, you will make yourself good at it eventually. You might be shit at it first, but if you have a passion for something that you truly love, you will give yourself the time and you will practice and you will get better at your craft. Doesn't matter what it is. And to me, as long as you put the hours in, you will become successful at it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I feel you on that. I feel you on every word of that, and it's so fucking important, guys, that you understand that, you know, from what we know, your energy might live on, but you've only got one time on the planet. You might as well fucking lean into something that lights you up if you're gonna be here. Yeah,
exactly. You know, you just want to make sure that when you start every day, are you happy? And when you go to bed every night, are you happy? You know, that's the biggest thing. And whatever your version of happiness is,
do that.
But, you know, as it comes down to people, comes down to, the career that you're trying to pursue, family members, whatever it is, everything around you must resonate to your happiness. Otherwise, fuck it off.
I love it. And guys, that is Sam Pearce, man. And that is your little 101 into bodybuilding and the man behind the body that's going to go and dominate on the world stage. I have no doubt about it. Just before we go, Sam, just give them so they can follow your gym and everything you're doing there and your Instagram and all that stuff. Just drop all that on here.
Yeah, socials and all that is obviously just Sam Pearce Official.
We'll put a link in the bio as well.
Yeah, that's all. Sam Pearce Official and Iron Asylum. I want to get Asylum number plates for my car, but it's not allowed due to mental health discrimination. So yeah, that was funny, but yeah, it's Iron Asylum, so it's not a mental asylum like Queensland Transport made out. But yeah, my gym's over in Helensvale on the Gold Coast. We have really only pro trainers working out of there, which is great. So, I've got an elite set of trainers working there, and it's good being around those type of people. And I've got a very good culture in there where, I have kicked people out of there because they have bad attitude in the gym. If you resonate remotely to a fuckwit, you are gone. No questions asked. I don't want bad attitude. I don't want any shit in there. I don't want it to be known as a roided up bodybuilder's gym. I have all different shapes and sizes coming in there because they all train hard. Funny enough, I actually had a bodybuilding mentality behind it, but not a lot of bodybuilders have actually started coming there because, like I said to you before, bodybuilders are full of shit. They don't train as hard as what they make themselves out. So some of them a lot of them haven't shown their face in there. Only the real hard working, real people that I see in there, which is great. So I find my vision on my own gym was to see something for what it is. And I see F45, CrossFit gyms, the gym you train at, Never Quit. They do a fantastic job at culture, and they create like a family environment where you don't have to be mates with your fucking person that you see. I see you on the jump rope hitting the bags. You don't have to be mates, but I guarantee you, when I've trained there at Never Quit, they say hi to everyone that walks in the door. You don't. It's just a friendly atmosphere. You don't feel intimidated about going there. Just because some guy might have muscle, or there's a good looking girl there, or it doesn't mean an overweight fat girl when she walks in she's going to be like, oh my god, like, g'day, how you doing? And I think CrossFit gyms, F45s, Never Quit, strongmen gyms, they do a fantastic job at that culture where I feel there isn't that in the bodybuilding realm.
And you've created it.
And that's what I want to do. So when you walk in, I don't give a fuck who you are.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're some big dude with tats or you're some little skinny teenager, you must feel welcome. If someone has a problem, good, you can both fuck off and sort it out. I don't want bullshit there. I just want people there that are there to train hard and support each other. If you want a spot, you need a spot. Like, it shouldn't be something other way. You're not entitled. I'm not entitled because I walk in and I'm a pro bodybuilder. It's like, dude, get off the machine. I've got to prep for a show. But at the same time, there's no one on their fucking machine there on their phone fucking around. Everyone's there to train hard, get in there, get the work done, and fuck off.
Just old spit and sawdust type, but with family values.
You get one warning of bad attitude, kicked out straight away. You get one warning if you don't put your weights away or you leave a mess. One warning, second warning, gone. I don't want to hear your excuse.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse, dude. And
I fucking love it because you're so clinical, man.
Yeah, if you want to leave your weights and leg press, that's sweet. You got one chance. Strike one, gone. Like, don't want to hear about it. Don't want to hear about you in the wrong mind frame. Good, go somewhere else. Like when you come in, the gym's always clean. There's one thing too. I always have it clean. The weights are where they are. Nothing's broken. Everything's fixed. Always serviced. Always on top of everything. So that way I know the members are happy. Everyone's in a good environment. And more so, as I said, it comes back to support. You've got a good support network there where everyone feels welcome and happy to train. People don't realise how lonely everyone else is. There's people that don't have families. There's going to be people that are going to be alone on Christmas Day. So I'm holding an open day Christmas Day where I have a hamper out the front for people from the gym to go hang out there and do their thing. And they can hang out there, and I think I've got it open until about 12, 1 o'clock. So I'll have like a morning there for people to, come in and feel welcome, because a lot of people are alone on Christmas Day.
Mate, I'm alone on Christmas Day.
It's a shit. I had it 1 year. 1 year I had it, and it was the worst day of my life. I'm like, I'll never wish that upon anyone. So I want to make sure I can
mate.
I can have that opportunity for people if they're alone, come down and get a feed, hang out and train. You know, the gym's open for that day, and you know, I do have a CAP membership. You know, and I've said no to people and I've kicked people out, but I do that so
to make it a good environment for everyone else.
Yeah, so the members there are happy. Why would I just keep you on just so I can keep your membership where I could lose 10 more because people fucking hate you?
You know. And it all comes in a gym like you've got. It all comes down to attitude.
Definitely, man.
It's all attitude. It's not. It's only attitude that gives bodybuilding the name it gets. It's
Correct.
only attitude. It's not that you're a nice guy. I know you're a nice guy. We've just sat down and had a conversation. Rah. But it's all down to attitude. That people get a perception of this bodybuilding industry, and you have openly said, like yourself, you don't like half these bodybuilders because of their fucking attitude.
Yeah, correct.
So it's fucking great, man. Thanks for being real, bruv, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast
Anytime.
And guys, do me a favor, yeah. If you let me and Sam know on Instagram if you got some wisdom out of that. I hope you did. I hope you like the realness of it. Talking about all the drugs, all the other stuff, all the real shit that goes on in the industry, because that's how I like to keep it on this podcast. And do me a favor, share it with your friends and all that razzmatazz too. I appreciate you all listening. Much love.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Frankie Lee Podcast.